Good morning, everybody. It's Chris from Serene Education with the 4 majors analysis update for the 11th of September 2013. Okay, 4 majors this morning, as per usual, starting with Euro against US dollar on our FX8 Ultimate template. Let's have a look and see what happened yesterday. Daily candle upside, but didn't really clear the daily fib. You can quite clearly see I've taken the lows here that we saw in late or early July to the current high that we've seen through mid-August. And you'll see the 23.6, the 38, the 50, 61, 78.6. And you can see that price has obviously recently bounced at the 50%, which is also just above the weekly. And in doing so, also staying above the institution moving average. And subsequently pushing it higher yet again to try reattempt the prior highs. Coming unstuck, however, we've had, after the bullish engulfing candle that we saw on Monday, a resistance level high at the 23.6, which happens to be our fib level. You can see yesterday we saw a slight pullback during the course of the day. However, by the close of the the US session, we saw a reattempt of the current high. On the Asian session, however, we haven't seen Euro moving high at all, and in doing so, actually pulling back and engulfing yesterday's range. So this 23.6 intraday now becomes a major support and resistance level, a consolidation range. And we have the weekly fib not too far away from that. So we're seeing a bit of resistance at the moment. You can see the long-term sentiment over here, pretty much long, monthly, weekly, daily, and 4 hours. Overall, the bias is positive. However, you can see that intraday negativity coming through as we see the pullback on the Asian session. So as long as this occurs, then this is more likely to be a resistance level. And then we could see a reattempt of the 38.2 daily to the downside, which will take us back towards that all-important institution moving average. If it does fall lower, she's going to form a swing low. And if we do have a swing low, it means that the intermediate trend at the moment, i.e. our intraday trend, would then be one of negativity. So look for the RMO. You can see quite clearly it has dropped off quite sharply. However, the MACD has punched through at the moment now. However, this is a very small candle at the moment. There's more negativity in this move over here than positiveness. You can see the last time we were above positive, we had that tweezer top. And now we have a genuine fall after that tweezer top. Okay, so we're looking for resistance levels. Clearly above price is quite a strong resistance level, so there we should be looking for the negativity. Just looking for any news, Euro news. We've got German 10-year bond auctions. It's a tentative figure or announcement, so sometime this morning we should have those. But there's no other news besides the US market, which is the 10-year bond auction this evening at 6 p.m. GMT. Other than that, there's nothing else. We do have that's exactly it for today. We just have those two announcements that might factor in price. So as it stands at the moment now, we drop down to a 4-hour time frame. You can see the only thing that's not in favor on our indicator box is that institution moving average. That is above price. So it's telling us it's a bit negative. Because of that news, you can quite clearly see now we've had that physical bounce and we're having that hesitation. You could see how the institution moving average now is above price, acting as resistance. We have the daily 23.6 fib retracement at that level, and we also have the weekly fib at that level. So we had a breakout recently of consolidation, and now we're having a pullback. If it fails to pull back and break through, then we're looking for a bearish engulfing candle on our 4-hour to break below these current lows, and in doing so, forming the continuation, and the 38.2 will be our first target, and then back towards our price support and resistance level down here, just below the 31,200 mark. Sterling on the daily, heading higher yesterday, moving higher into the prior highs. Very, very good. I mean, we're getting all this positive sentiment through here because it's primarily found support above the institution. You could see previously we had an attempt above the institution and that failed miserably. Here we had a nice breakout, the pullback, and then a continuation to a prior highs. Some more profit taking, and now because we're spending more time above the institution, there's more buying sentiment coming through, and sure enough, we're seeing that. A lot of upside movement over the past week or so, and in doing so, we're seeing price heading towards that 61.8 fib on the weekly resistance level. So heading into that level, you can see over here, the overall sentiment on the monthly is still looking a bit negative. However, on the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour, we clearly have positive upside. The intraday, you can see that there's a bit of a smattering of red as hesitation comes into it, primarily because as we head higher, we're going to be moving into our current high, all-time high, which is this weekly high at the 61.8, which is the 15,750. So when we go down to our 4-hour time frame, straight away we get a buy signal, But if you look at the candles, very indecisive. So what we want to see is a nice bullish engulfing candle above the current high here at the moment, consolidation high. You'll notice RMO is moving high, which is good. All our moving averages are below price and order and evenly spaced out, showing a lot of true sentiment behind that. The R squared very much moving in favor with most of it. Our 5 and 15 at the moment not complementing, but you can quite clearly see we had a lot of indecision, and the last 4 hour candle has seen a pullback. Our long-term target, as we said, if we ending here at the weekly, that would eventually be our long-term target, and where price is trading right now to that level is just 39 pips, so we are very, very close. So anybody who's taking longs over here at the moment would have to be very aggressive in the entries and stops, and you're putting a lot of more risk in your favor because we're quite clearly at the level, and you can see how price is starting to stall now as more and more people start taking profit as we head into this ultimate high. So here, consolidation, hesitation is one thing. Look at the news to see if there's anything out there that could actually push price higher above the 61.8, and then we should start looking at trading that cleaner air up towards that 78.6 level. What do we have today? We have Claremont count change, which is a very important one this morning at 9:30 a.m. GMT. Then we go into the average earnings index. It's a 3-month year-on-year figure. Then we have the unemployment rate, which is an important one. They don't expect any change there at 7.8%. Then we have one of the MPC members this afternoon at 4 p.m. speaking. Other than that, nothing else. So there is some news this morning, in particular the Claremont count change, which is going to be an important one at 9:30. Will that actually decipher what's likely to happen? If we continue to see a lot of indecision candles here, and if the news for sterling comes out negative, we could see this as a near-term resistance, and price will then return to the weekly fib that we've seen just recently, which is also our trend line on our 4-hour as our first target. US dollar Swiss franc here. We've had a bounce recently, and a nice strong support being forged around the weekly fib. Each time she broke lower, there was no true momentum. And what it's subsequently happened now, you can see at the bottom here, as we went into the support over here, which price clearly did not too long ago, you can see that the MACD was working its way back to zero, and then particularly through this period over here, when we saw further selling, we saw more purchasing contracts, and you can see the RMO doing exactly that. And then through here, a lot of buying coming through, and the RMOs popped up. However, in this move, you can see quite clearly we had a lot of resistance here at the daily fib, which is this current high we've seen over here just recently in early July to the current low through mid-August. You can see the 23.6 and the 38, which now complements our monthly fib, but also the institutional moving average. We had resistance, and then we had a breakout, the pullback. But the pullback was so great it didn't find support above the monthly, above the monthly in particular. And then what happened, we saw a negative stance, especially with non-farm payroll figures that came out on Friday. That pushed it lower back towards our 23.6 intraday fib. So now we've seen price holding on to that. It wants to go higher. The US dollar wants to reattempt those highs here. And quite clearly, if we are to see any further positiveness for this particular pair, the US dollar against Swiss franc, we would need to see price trading higher than the 50% retracement here, the 50% line, and finding support and kicking higher. And that 50% on our daily would be our initial target for the foreseeable future. At the moment now, trading quite close to that resistance level. If we drop down to a 4-hour, you'll see a very strong resistance level on this time frame. Just zoom out so you guys can see a bit more. Quite clearly see a resistance, breakout, the pullback, and the pullback failed to continue. Then we break it. So we're trading very, very close to a very strong support and resistance level here. Institutions below price, first time since early July, which is a good sign. However, we are trading at a monthly fib, which happened to be a prior support and resistance level, quite a strong one. RMO is above, which is a good sign trend, but you can see the MACD has just gone positive. So very, very important. We do need to see a close higher than the 50% retracement at these levels. So somewhere around about the 9388 mark, get above that, close, and then we start looking for positive. At the moment now, we do see positiveness. However, we have a major resistance level in the way. Last for the day, the US dollar Japanese yen. Look at the indicator box over here quite clearly. You can see that the long-term sentiment is looking positive upside. We have seen swing highs recently. A bit of negativity intraday. However, yesterday's candle, after a lot of indecision, has punched higher than this consolidation higher above the monthly, which is a good sign. Now we just need to see prices kicking on. And when she kicks on, she's more likely then to head off to, if you just take these current lows over here, you can see that the 61.8 actually mirrors that 50%, that 61%, excuse me, on the monthly. That target over here would be our next target here at 78.6, which is effectively from where price is trading right now to the level, a good healthy 130 pips. RMO is above, MACD is above, has clearly been above for some time now as price actually found support on the institution on our daily. So now, as long as she maintains above the 50% or the level here, current level on the daily, then we should be looking for support or entry levels. So we drop down to our 4-hour time frame. We should get a, there we go, we get a bar signal. Everything's in our favor. However, the candle that we're seeing right now is a tweezer top formation. This is all happening still above the major price support and resistance level here in terms of our monthly fib, as well as our 61.8 on our daily fib. So this would be our support level for the remainder of this week. So price has just got to stay above here. She can maintain above here, then we should be looking for buying opportunities. The last arrow was blue, candlesticks are blue, RMO above, MACD above. The only problem I have at the moment now is we are making a new high. Quite clearly see price is moving higher. However, our MACD is starting to look a bit negative. That's okay. As price moves higher, obviously the MACD, the RMO is going to show some sort of divergence. The most important thing is as long as it maintains above this level, the monthly, then price is likely to start looking positive, building on that sentiment and then pushing up towards our next target. So look for entries primarily above the current high intraday, and then those targets would be up here at 101.52. Okay guys, that's it. Short and sweet today. There is a bit of news out today. Just look at the fundamentals to see if there's anything that's going to really factor the particular pair that you're looking at in terms of if we're trading next to price support and resistance levels are very strong ones. Look to see if you can find breakouts, support or resistance. It's far easier. Always be aware of your major support and resistance levels. If you are using this particular template, please back it up with sound money management rules. Very, very important. And follow the rules of the template, guys. It's meant to be, it was built to be very mechanical. Your approach has to be mechanical in trading. Try and take the emotion out of it. If you have a very mechanical strategy template, you're far likely to make less mistakes and you'll be a lot more profitable going forward. Okay, so leave you with that. Have a fantastic trading day and I'll catch you first thing tomorrow morning. Until then, you guys trade serenely.